The internet can be a scary place online. How do you not get scammed when buying or selling cards? Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name's Louie. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Welcome back to the channel. This is kind of part 3 of a series we're doing called How to Sell Your Cards Online. I hope you've been enjoying the series. It's not the the most exciting or clickbaity of series, but I hope that it's providing you some value. That's what this channel is aiming to be about. Although we do get into the clicky stuff as well. We're trying to get to 10,000 subs, where we're going to open up a Mirrored booster box on the channel and have a bunch of fun together. So if you are enjoying the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I have a big surprise for patrons at 10,000 subs as well. So really looking forward to that. But today I want to talk about how to not get scammed online, whether that be buying or selling trading card games like Magic and Pokemon and all that stuff. I do about 3 to 5 Facebook or Discord sales or purchases per week just in my own environment on buying and selling cards. And then on TCG Player as a business, I bet you, I'm just guessing, I bet you would do about 250 to 300 sales a week on TCG Player on an average week, not including things that happen like when we have a new set release or that kind of thing. So we have done a lot of online sales, and I'm no pro. I guess technically I am a pro, but I would not call myself like the #1 person in the world for this stuff, but I have learned a lot, and that's what I want to share with you. So what I've learned is that the more you do this, the easier it becomes and the more trusting you kind of become in this environment. The more that you buy, sell, and trade online, the easier it becomes to do it. And you'd learn that most people are good people. I would venture to say that about 99% of the people who are buying or selling cards online are good people who aren't out to get you. But how do you avoid the scammers? So I have a list of 3 things that I think you can apply to your life that will save you a lot of time and energy, and hopefully a lot of headaches, and hopefully save your wallet a little bit as well. So the #1 thing that you can do to avoid scammers if you're buying or selling on Facebook or Discord or a marketplace like that would be to create a reference page. And we're going to get into TCG Player in a minute and eBay in a minute, but I think a lot of people also look at Facebook and Discord as a way to buy, sell, and trade cards. I think it's really good. I think it's really healthy for you to have that environment. I particularly really enjoy trading in my personal collection, where I don't have to sell things and have all the tax implications and all that stuff. Rather, you just trade things, and it's a great way to engage in the hobby. And a lot of that stuff happens on Facebook and Discord. So what you need to do is create a reference page for the individual games, and then go back in your history and ask those who you have traded with to leave you a good review. And until you get there, what you can do is you can trust people who also have reference pages. So when you are trading with someone, you ask them very politely, hey, you reach a deal, you say, hey, could you share a reference page with me? And if they have one and it's got a bunch of references and you don't have one at all, you probably need to ship your cards first and wait for that person to receive them, and then they ship them to you, and then you have a transaction that you can add to your new reference page. And once you get 5 or 6 positive references on your reference page, it's a really great way for you to then show to other people that you're not scamming. And then, if they don't have a reference page, or if they refuse to share it with you, or refuse to look at yours and basically say whatever, that's the time where you maybe say, I'm gonna walk away. I'm not gonna deal with this, especially if you have a reference page that has 10, 15, 20 people, and they don't have any, and you are proving to them, hey, I have a great reference. I've done this, 20 times. It's worked out really well, and they're not willing to ship to you first. That's a big red flag. And at that point, it's time to just walk away respectfully, without getting angry, without getting frustrated. It's just time to just walk away from the trade. It's just not worth the energy and the potential scam. So utilizing those reference pages is super healthy. #2, on eBay and TCG Player, utilizing the block list is a major thing that a lot of the sellers will do, and not everybody talks about. You know this, that on eBay and TCG Player, they will almost always side with the buyer, and that's okay. And it's frustrating as a seller. I get it. And for a lot of people, it prevents them from wanting to sell, and I get that. But at the end of the day, where the money comes from on TCG Player and eBay is from the buyer. That is where the money comes from. And so they need the money to stay here. They need the confidence of the money to stay in their platform. So they do these things where they almost always will side with the buyer. Now, on low-end sales, that's not a big deal. On high-end sales, though, I have had success on eBay and TCG Player. I don't know if it's because of the history of my eBay account or the TCG Player account. I have had success with reaching out to those platforms, usually by the phone. You're communicating on Messenger and whatever, and then you get them to call you, you call them. And when you get people on the phone, usually you can get eBay to refund you, the seller, the fee, and they also are refunding the buyer. So there are ways to deal with that on the higher end thing if you call and you pursue that stuff. But when you have a lower end claim, I'm talking like a TCG Player sale, they buy a $7 card or cards for $7, you ship in a plain white envelope. You know that it got there, but they claim it never got there. This happens often. At that point, what we do personally, we refund. I don't argue, I don't complain. Usually I'll send them a message and I'll say, hey, can you wait another 5 days? Could you wait another 7 days to see if it pops up? And usually they'll say yes. Even if they're scamming, they'll say yes because they don't care. And so then they'll reach back out to me, or they won't. If they don't, I just assume they got the card. If they reach back out to me, at that point, I just refund them the $7. And then I hit a little button on TCG Player or on eBay that says block buyer. I don't know if they're scamming me or not, but what I know is that there are enough buyers on TCG Player that blocking that one buyer that may be a scammer will save me a lot of headaches down the road. That might not be like I don't know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? Like, I'm protecting my business, but at the other end, I am still refunding the money, and I'm just eating that cost. And I think under the $25 threshold, you just have to accept that selling on TCG Player, selling on eBay, you're gonna have some of those results. And if you ship in enough volume, and this is why we only do tracking above $25, if you ship in enough volume, you're saving enough money on the shipping and that kind of stuff that it kind of makes up for that kind of loss of product that happens sometimes. So, but again, I would say if we do 250 sales a week, we get maybe 1 to 2 messages a week that people say they didn't get their product. So it's less than that 1% threshold, in my opinion, on sales. So make sure you are utilizing that block list. That's what it is. Other stores I talk to, we joke about how many people we have on our block list. It's amazing that we still get sales from TCG Player, just because over the course of 2 or 3 years, you start adding a lot of people. Anyway, it's just it's a running joke on people. But the other thing on eBay and TCG Player, when you are accepting best offers, you can look at the rating of the buyer and you can make a decision on, do you accept an offer, not just based on the financials, but also based on the buyer's history. And that's something that I do often. If a buyer makes me an offer and he has like a 0, is a new account or no rating, I typically will not accept that offer. Simply put, it's just a higher risk for a scam. So I don't do that. Last thing, now we're gonna transition to like buying collections. So if you're looking to sell cards on TCG Player and eBay, chances are you're gonna wanna be buying collections off of Facebook Marketplace or that kind of thing. This is where things get into too good to be true. And that is such a true statement that we often forget when we're looking at Magic cards and we see something shiny. So I typically look for collections when I am buying, or when I'm buying a collection, I typically look for collections in the $100 to $200 price range. Now, why is that? Because you want high-end cards, so why would you stick to $100 to $200 price range? My logic behind that is that somebody who knows the value of Magic the Gathering cards is not going to price things at $100 to $200. In other words, at $100 to $200, I kind of feel like I'm dealing with somebody who doesn't really know what they have, doesn't really know what the cards are, and so there's a less chance that they are scamming me. They think that $150 for Magic the Gathering cards is an obscene amount of money. They can't believe that cards would be worth that much money. Now, typically, I get those cards, and there's $200 to $300 worth of cards in there. It's nothing huge huge, nothing special, because typically those collections, you know, as you get more invested in Magic and as you get better cards, you're more aware of the value, and you don't end up dumping your collection with your grandma, or your aunt doesn't end up with a collection, or your mom doesn't end up with a collection. You end up selling it to a store or doing whatever. So those lots that are in the $100 to $200 range, in my opinion, are the safest non-scam things, because as soon as somebody puts up a lot, they're like $800. It's like, okay, you know there's a value there, and if it's a random lot, you probably took out the value. So I typically, when I buy things, tend to stick in the $150 to $200 range, and I usually will utilize PayPal goods and services, and I will request that I will pay the fee, the 3% extra, to utilize PayPal goods and services. Again, I've had a couple times where I bought Pokemon or Magic the Gathering lots on there that have looked decent, that you know, were between $100 and $200, $300, and the buyer never shipped it to me. I utilized PayPal and I got my money back. It's not the end of the world. It's something you have to deal with as a buyer or seller. Here's where I want to get to at the end of this, is that you cannot get discouraged in this world. Whenever you have a situation like this where you're dealing with other people, you're gonna lose, you're gonna win, you're gonna break even, you're gonna put a lot of energy into something and barely make any money. And then you're gonna have really big, great days where you buy a collection for $150, they ship you the cards, and there's something really cool in it that you get that's really awesome. There's gonna be really good days, there's gonna be really bad days. Do not get discouraged. You have to take the losses and the hardships and the failures as an opportunity to grow. And the biggest failure in life is not trying. The biggest, you know, I had a comment on if we're 11 minutes in the video, I'll share this. I had a comment on my comment section the other day that was basically like, you should give up the store, like you're whatever, and it's not gonna work, your family, whatever. And at the end of the day, I kind of was just like, you know what? Like, I'm pursuing my dreams. Yeah, there's hardships. Yeah, it sucks as a store sometimes. Yeah, I'm really frustrated with Wizards. But at the end of the day, like, at least I'm up and doing something that I enjoy and that's fun. I'm creating a YouTube channel, I'm trying to get 10,000 subs, and I have goals, and I have passion, I'm excited about something. At the end of the day, don't let discouragement stop you from trying and from accomplishing some things. You gotta learn. The failures are just lessons. Make sure you keep going. When you get burned, make sure you just don't get burned hard. Don't accept an offer that you had up there from a seller that has zero, or a buyer that has 0 ratings. Don't make stupid mistakes. Make mistakes that you're allowed, that allow you to continue to move on in your business or in your hobby or in your collecting. Learn from your mistakes and don't just give up. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful for you guys on how to avoid scammers. Make sure you get those reference pages. Make sure you utilize the block list on TCG Player and eBay. And then make sure when you're buying collections, things are too good to be true, don't buy them. So hopefully you have yourself a great day. Be kind to the people around you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'll talk to you again next video.